If you think this was all of it I can show about the 8th of October Day, well, you're on the wrong. This day at midnight, I also found about I was on a table, a whole bunch of beers. Wow. Who would have seen anything like this? But in fact, who the heck, who the fuck will waste, who the fuck will waste that money on a lot of beers? Wow. They must, they must have, the people who have drank most of these beers may have gone back home drunk. Even though drinking a lot of beer is worse than gambling, even though both things are addictive, drugs themselves. Anyways, I went for the cigar pass and went to the probably number 11, and I just took this small picture of the living of the living there. But who gives a shit? And now I went back to my place and go back to sleep. It's now morning, and here is her from my grandma's house.
Tenías tiempo de dormir cuando estés en la casa. And now, on this point onwards, there are so many flat buildings that in Somerset in the street that don't even have any lifts. These flat buildings are possibly built around the 50s or the 60s, but not having a lift in a flat building is the worst mistake that could has ever been in. But who the heck? But they seriously need a lift. Also, most of these flat buildings have flats on the ground floor, which is quite odd. Usually, these flat buildings from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the present day ones usually don't have carry on the ground floor places that carry on these flat buildings. When I was walking to get to the restaurant to our restaurant to have my breakfast, I apparently found this Easter egg in the middle of former Arzobispo Olachea Street. This used to be a street until 2018. Yeah, it used to be a street until North Street till 2018. Now half of it has been turned into a tiny square. Know the part where there's some more building inside of a church. yeah, that part has been turned into a square. And now I have returned to my grandma's house to wait for my aunt to go to a restaurant that we gonna do to gonna eat that we be gonna and we going to eat lunch for the night for this night for the special day. They on it apparently when I was at my grandma's house I found my year two grades of the second semester. Here's a pic here's a picture of my year two grades of the second semester. I guess I did manage to pass year two at the time, but even though in year two I did terrible in English because I don't know I'm still good at English to this day because I was kind of actually taught in English class and yeah I do not prefer to talk about what I've just did in English class. Anyways, here's a really nice one here's a really nice on view of how traffic's going now in the Kirkabet district in Valencia. There's nothing much to see around here, but who gives a shit? 2 hours later, I left my grandma's house, and when I got to the ground floor, boom! One of the lasers just got stuck just got stuck between the ground and floors. The, it got stuck with a it got stuck with a couple of it with a baby wheelchair. It got stuck with a couple with a baby wheelchair inside of it. Anyways, several minutes later, someone rescued them out. Some resident rescued them out of a lift, and then the current technician just went to look what just happened, and probably has fixed the lift even at that time. So let's see what happens now.
Pues no, no. No, no, ese no, sube andando, que eres joven. No. Sube andando. Pues ese, ya se lo han llevado. No, no. Ahora se sube como vaya. Wow. Carlos le salió un funiculo, no sé qué, lo opera también, al desarrollado, bueno, entonces, que te vas fuera, tienes que pagar el extra, porque ya las terminas nosotros una semana fuera, pues claro, 55 euros. Stay back. I'm back. Bueno, que todos son problemas. Y al final. Entonces yo, ahora
A few minutes later after this terrible incident, I went to Casablanca's restaurant in Pinedo to eat a paella. We really wanted for 9th of October, but who cares? But yes, who cares? Anyways, I managed to take a picture of the paella, just eat it, and wow, this is really delicious to begin with. 8 p.m. has arrived, and it is almost time for the big 9th of October fireworks in the Malva-rosa area, which is Valencia beach side. And now and now time to get the 9 central area, or I mean the metro to Malva-rosa. In fact, we didn't even get the tram at all, but we didn't even get the tram at all, but who cares? But who cares? At least I did manage to bother to spot some trams, and even walk through a tram through tram stops. But anyways, let's go back to Hispanity, the station. The line 2 trains are back to terminate at Torrance Avenue after this first day of this the first part of this video, which was on the 8th of October, which have been terminated very soon, just like 1988, but they're back to terminate at Torrance Avenue anyway. Here we have a very sunny Cedar station. Here's a line 2 train to Torrance Avenue leaving the station. Yes, now here I've returned to Sunny Cedar station, and this time I'm going to get off of Marítim-Serrería. So you might not see properly the yellow line because it's not really that worthwhile painted. In fact, the yellow line is the gap, or somehow the British people call it the platform edge. Shit. Also, the line 2 trains are back to terminated at Torrance Avenue. Line 2, the train are approaching is to Illyria. Please stand back from the platform edge. Here comes the line 2 to Illyria.
No te vayas por ahí, que no te veo.
Right, line 7, the next train, line 7 to Torrance Avenue, you had the next platform will arrive in 3 minutes. I know it's like how every day we do the same shit, but no one, but who cares?
I just don't want to get that.
Right, so I guess the next train, guess the line 7 is coming now. Right. It's coming. Right, time for London Underground First Nation. Okay, is it coming now? I sense. Line 7, the train are approaching is to Torrance Avenue. Please stand back from the platform edge.
2 o el 1 o el 2 te lo puedo hacer. El 1 o el 2. Los dos llevan aquí. Es el 3.
What the
¿Qué
fuck?
haces con tu vida? ¿Pastilla?
He's usually gonna get crushed by a train. Line 1, the next train will arrive in 3 minutes. Oh, never mind. You got to be joking, right? Line 1, the train are approaching is due to end. Please stand back from the platform edge.
No, pero aquí pone que es 7. Claro, es que lleva hasta Marítim-Serrería, es verdad. 7. El 5 también lleva, claro, es que llevan el 5, el 7, el 6 y el 8. Todos sitios esperan hasta que venga uno y ya verán.
Right, line 1 to semi-ice just coming.
Que sí que sé, compadre. Está viniendo uno.
Line 1, the train are approaching is to seminary, so please stand back from the platform edge.
Que está viniendo el 1. Está viniendo.
I guess people may have learned about Metro Valencia services.
Sí, daría una. Hay 45. ¿Cuántos pisos era ya?
No, no hay que ser.
Pero te dije que vaya lista y yo, papá. y 39. Está en YouTube. En claro, es no usa.
It's arriving now. Line 7, the train now approaching is to Marítim-Serrería. Please stand back from the platform edge. A veces se faz a mesmo, mas prevalece mais só.
¿Cuántas paradas hay hasta ahora esta serrería?
I only count. One second, please.
Tengo que llegar hasta el final donde está el 7. Tengo que llegar hasta donde está el 7 y estamos ahora mismo en Valencia Sur.
Sí.
Y aquí a eso tengo que llegar hasta ahí. Ahí donde tenemos el otro día.
Sí, creo que tampoco son tantas, joder.
Pero hablan, hablan todas las semanas prácticamente, rollo. Pues es tipo de hablar, ¿sabes? Sí, sí,
Para bañar, pero luego no te acuerdas que yo salí con la ciudad, porque nosotros fuimos con maletas. En el coche yo no recuerdo. Sobre una serrería. Avenida Esa Serrería.
Who the hell causes that type of delay? What? kidding me?
Ya tampoco lo tiene que tener, ya más largo, ya está.
Yeah, I'm going now.
Yo quería venir, estaba lloviendo.
Maybe next year you will see the Arsenal Stadium. But I don't. Maybe next year you will see the Arsenal Stadium, but I don't know.
Vamos por el barrio tal y luego nos acercamos al Emirates a nuevo y lo vemos. Paramos en Highbury, una regañadiente, paramos y acababa justo el partido del Arsenal. Calentamos con el Arsenal y acababa. Salimos del metro y cada nosotros venían todos los hinchas del Arsenal, todos gritando, tal. Se ve que antes los preparativos para sacar a la gente del campo, ¿no? Los sacan todos por la misma dirección. Toda la gente venía, cada nosotros estábamos casi a contradirección. Y cuando teníamos que salir del metro, pues no nos dejaron ir hacia el campo, porque te tiraban para atrás con toda la gente, ¿no? No te podías aproximar. Claro, nos metimos, entró un mogollón de los hinchas ahí, por ahí en medio de los tres. Vamos, no sé qué, primero otra vez, nos volvimos a meter en el metro y volvimos a entrar al metro otra vez. La avalancha de gente que venía.
Now you are the next station which is where this train will terminate at. Well, it's now 1 year since I haven't stepped at the station.
we are through. Almost there. Watch this change to the line 5. And now I just changed to line 5. Also the displays have been replaced. Sorry about that. And now to the lift at Marítim-Serrería station. It's a really nice ThyssenKrupp lift. Let's ride it. I'm going by lift.
Ascensor subiendo. Planta 1.
I made it upstairs. There's the other lift to platform 2, but it doesn't work since platform 2 is not even used at all. And if I'm saying use American accent. There comes the tram. It's line 8. Watch it go down. Wow, it's just been a while since I touched the tram. Not a while, but 2 fucking years. Oops. No, you can't go. No, you can't go straight in this.
¿Pero por qué vas con el móvil grabando? ¿Ahora qué grabas?
Nothing.
No hay nada. Guárdatelo.
Well, I guess.
Mañana al final del año.
Before this video continues, I'd like to give a bit of explanation about Valencia's Chatham City lines. Well, as far as we know that we have three tram lines in Valencia, which those are part of the Valencia Metro. The longest tram line as far as the line 4, but you can also think of the line 6, which is also a bit shorter than the line 4. But what's about the line 8? It is the shortest tram line that has ever come across in Valencia. in the Valencia tram. Well, if in the world if in entire Europe in undergrounds and underground metro slash metro or tram systems, you think that that the Valencia tram line 8 is the shortest? Well, think again. Didn't you think about London Underground's Waterloo and City line? This line is the shortest in London Underground. It is a short. It is far shorter than the line 8 of a Valencia tram. Because the Waterloo and City line just goes between two stations, and the tram line 8 and the Valencia tram line 8 goes only stops at 4 stations. So you think that the metro that the tram line 8 is as short as the water is a bit much longer than the Waterloo and City line in Waterloo and City line London Underground. Well, yes, you might be wrong, but I'm right. But wrong. Let's compare the tram line 8 of Valencia to the Waterloo and City line. So you think the Waterloo and City line is the shortest. But if you think that the tram line A of Valencia is shorter than the Waterloo and City line, you're completely wrong. Think of the Waterloo and City line and London Underground. It is much shorter than the line 8 of a Valencia tram. Anyways, let's continue.
Sí, siempre pienso.
Is this a hotel or it's an office building? Or it's a hospital? I don't know what's this. And now to the tram stop.
And now, when I went to Francisco Rey's tram stop, FGB has implemented a display system for the Valencia tram. This display system is kind of similar to the bus, to Valencia's bus, but it is definitely 100% similar to London Underground, because these displays are similar. Because these displays look like London Underground, but they have a different font in their dot matrix. This system is currently under beta testing because it has been recently implemented into the Valencia tram network. It has been recently implemented in Valencia trams, like I said. These displays look really new, and I think there won't be a better testing in the next 4 years.
The tram stop is kind of long, so as it really needs space for the trams,
This tram station opened in 2007 when the Line 8 was opened. It used to be served by the Line 8, which was formerly the Line 5 tram. Then it was served by Line 5 as disguised as 8, 10 and 9, 6. And now Line 6 and 8. This building is a genetic gift inside of it. Anyways, let's see if this time I capture a Line 6 tram. Ow. Never mind, that was a fucking tree. That doesn't look like a tram. It's a bike. Now I still don't know where we should eat at. There's a tram. Line 8. Watch it pass through. And your eyes are walking. I'll get a further bend. Now here's the time that I now capture the Line 6 train. No, a Line 6 tram I meant. Now this is what you would call a modern 14-year-old tram. So renting some 60s and 70s some 60s and 70s buildings. But some of them might be from the 80s or 90s or the early 2000s.
And now, starting off at this point, this is after Gracanyamela's tram stop. This is the way where both Line 6 and 8 proceed. In the other way, but at this point is where the Line 6 and 8 separate from each other. Here's where each line goes. The Line 6 goes on the left hand side and proceeds all the way to the south of A. Once the Line 8, the shortest one, terminates at the next stop, which is Marina-Real. In the other way, Marina-Real used to be called Neptune until 2014. The line originally opened in 2007, but from 2007 to 2014, but the Marina-Real tram stop used to be called Neptune. Maybe it was because of the creation of the Neptune Hotel, which is nearby this tram stop.
Now here's where we take the Line 6 route. On the right,
after this point on the right, there goes the line 8, and then on the left, the line 6. Aren't we crossing the tram rails? I guess this is something that we are not supposed to do.
No, por la vía del tranvía.
Yes! Yes!
Ya, vamos a hacer el tranvía por aquí para no atropellar. No sabemos ni por dónde vamos.
Dude. Fuck yeah!
Qué arriesgado, tío.
Bueno, si te quieres morir, muérete tú, ¿sabes? O sea, mírate, ahí está. Mira. Mira, pagamos mucho mi vida. You could have thought about the tram earlier.
Bejo yang kande kon yegesu. Den yegesu say. Say yang ka. Hello, Mrs. Johnson.
Hello. My name is Eli.
And now it's time for the really big moment most of you have been waiting for. it is now time for the fireworks. So now into the fireworks show. Anyways, now let's play the fireworks show. So play, please.
A mí no, porque... Ay, qué bien. Tampoco.
Creo que te salen de abajo, ¿no?
returning home, my dad, now returning back, it was almost on for bed. It was just really late at night when this fireworks show started. Anyways, to get this off my chest, my dad has really thought of a really stupid idea to get the bus. When we had the car park at the San Isidro station car park, he thought of getting the bus and leave our car in the San Isidro station. Who the hell who the who the hell thinks that getting the bus without knowing that your car was parked at the car park of a metro station is really a good idea? Well, I don't think so. Now here at back at Marítim-Serrería station.
Lo más rápido que tengo que ir.
I was trying to get a good shot of the arrival of the train, but stupid security told me off. Anyways, to start with, I was running out of battery and couldn't get all of the stations to San Isidro. I go have the stations in the route.
¿Te ha dicho que era el último? ¿Sí?
Yes. The last train.
Pues hemos venido nosotros sin saber nada, ¿eh? Llegamos aquí y tal, nos hubiera tocado coger un taxi.
Hombre, ¿cómo lo sabes? Le ha dicho al niño, luego aparte que se ha dicho al chaval, que es el último, digo, como para haberlo perdido, ¿sabes? We would have been fucked if we missed this train.
No, la verdad es que no es normal, ¿no? Incluso para ir a la gente ahora, donde falla aquí, donde falla la clave del castillo, y va para el mismo y el mismo y de gente.
But this is amazing. There's absolute. There's no next 9-5 to the airport coming at this point. This is so awesome. Literally, we get this train for all of ourselves. And it's possibly going to take a while. Never mind. Just look like a few seconds.
El otro día ibas del trabajo que... Para que volviste a las 6. Y ya por aquí, por la ferretería. Y ellos están al suelo también.
My phone ran out of battery at the moment I got to Alameda station. Anyways, back several stations later, back to my place and went back to sleep once again.